Hello there, everyone on the internet. This is Sidepocket. First, I must apologize for my appearance. Been having a hard day, weeks actually, I have to say, at work, and it's the winter, so I have the beard and the hair going. So I apologize that I look like a deranged hobo because normally I don't, but today I do. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put up with that. Um, I'm making this video because of my thoughts and fascinations with the Nintendo 3DS and the trends of handheld gaming. Um, I was excited about the 3DS ever since it was announced way back when it quote unquote leaked in the Japanese newspaper. And E3 blew me away. And the surprising thing for me was I thought that when they came out with, or they were going to come out with the price and the games and stuff that would be available near launch, that it would somehow drop off. Now it's weird because when I go on NeoGaf and Kotaku, apparently from commenters that has happened. But for me, it didn't happen. In fact, the the software side for me elevated, and the price I was relieved because as Reggie said, it's true. If anyone else, any other technological company was releasing a product like that, they would totally sell that for $400 and not that. They really would. I think a lot of people are underestimating the price considering what the 3DS actually does. Because this is not like the PSP where we're mainly caring about games here and movies and music is just another physical media type add-on. It's like I hear it and then I see all the stuff that it does and I'm blown away. And what's crazy is that most of the stuff that it does I'm blown away by is game stuff that the screen's wider and that it's in audio stereoscopic 3D that you can adjust the control, which I haven't seen that on any device ever. And that it has that huge upgrade graphics. Basically, it has GameCube geometry with Xbox 360 level shaders. Like this is for a handheld, pretty crazy, ridiculous stuff. And then to sell that for $250, you had a game, you're probably around 300. But it wouldn't be any different than, for example, in my opinion, buying a PSP when it came out, 250 and getting that and it's ended up 300, or buying a DS when it originally came out for 100 and you end up with 150 or $200. In fact, to go off a little tangent, I remember specifically when I bought my DS Lite. When the DS came out, I was very interested in it, but I didn't see any software for it that I liked. And while Sony's thing looked good, I didn't see any software either, so I thought I'd wait. And then I went to GDC 2006, and they were showing off the DS Lite, and they were also gave out Brain Age for free. So I'm like, crap, I have a free game from the Nintendo DS. I might as well buy one. So I waited, and I got DS Lite. I got Metroid Prime Hunters and Tetris DS, and that's when finally the software kicked in, and I've never looked back since. I love it. I have like so much. I have at least 30 games. At least 30 games. Actually, yeah, 25 to 30 games for the DS alone, in as long as I've owned it. And just Sony kind of just as a company and the variety of games and the way the company also treated their consumers and it seems like it's almost like the lack of support for the actual device that they just basically put it out there and expect it to there make money without any putting real exclusive effort, really getting everyone on board, really advertising the crap out of it instead of doing like these weird artsy foo-foo stuff or in your face PSP markets, which I could do an entire blog entry of how much I hate that advertisement. But that's for another day. And this is very different from the DS launch. It's like I have the same interest in it as I did with the DS, but what makes it different is there's games that I want for it. In fact, I'm actually the thing that I'm shocked at the most. I'm shocked at two things about the response so far for the Nintendo 3DS. In terms of the negative side, because there's been tons of positive stuff, but on the negative side is one, uh, that gamers, mainly talking about Kotaku and NeoGaf, are like, oh, the launch lineup sucks. And that really perplexes me, especially since I'm a long time gamer. I've been gaming since I was at least 4 or 5 years old. NES, NES, Genesis, SNES, Nintendo 64, Saturn, PlayStation, GameCube, Xbox, Dreamcast. I almost forgot that I love my Dreamcast. Dreamcast is if there was a top 3 systems, it'd be definitely one of those 3, probably number 2. It used to be number 1. And then now we're Wii, and I don't care for the other 2 HD and the weird thing about it is like the games, because it's like there's so much things I'm excited for. Like I was waiting for Street Fighter 4 because I knew they were going to do some sort of super turbo bullshit that they only did. And then they came out with Super Street Fighter 4, and I was almost about to buy it for the PC. And I heard about the 3DS version. I'm like, fuck it, I'm buying this because this is like the most fully featured. You get Super Street Fighter 4 as it was on the Xbox 360 with tons of exclusive content that you can't get on the Xbox 360 in the palm of your hand to go in 3D. That's pretty amazing for me. And then you add the Resident Evil Mercenaries, because I know Revelations is gonna take a while. I really like that game, but you get the entire Mercenaries mode hugely beefed up in 3D with you in wherever you go. Steel Diver, which is a new IP from Nintendo, something people have been begging for years now, where you control a submarine, which I think is awesome. And Nintendogs plus cats. I never owned Nintendogs, but I did got to demo it, and it was just I was so busy that I couldn't get into it. But I have more time now, and there's cats, and you can bring your pets with the augmented reality and online stuff and crazy stuff like that. And there's just so many. Like I'm sure I've missed a few because there's just so much stuff, and that the idea that there's going to be 40 games between March 27th to E3, which is in early June. 40 games is amazing. Usually at best you will get 15 console launch games, most of them crap, 3 being good, and then have nothing to play for 6 months. That's how it was like with the Wii, and I love the Wii, and that's what happened to me with the Wii during that time period. It's happened with every single console I own. I buy it, and then there's nothing to do for 6 months to a year. This is not happening with the 3DS, and that amazes me. And what I find very interesting about it is when you ask gamers, well, what did you expect at launch? And people say impossible shit. I wanted Ocarina of Time. I wanted Modern Warfare. I wanted Red Dead Redemption. It's like, this is shit that takes years to make. You really think they would put that at launch? Really? And especially, like, I love where it's like, the people are like, I want new IPs from Nintendo. I'm sick and tired of seeing Mario and Zelda and Pikmin and stuff and everything. And then Steel Diver, new IP from Nintendo, and people are like, and Nintendogs, and then people are like, well, wait, where's Mario and Zelda and Pikmin and all the stuff I want? You wanted new IPs, here it is. You also complained that Nintendo is nothing but first-party games. They're cutting back. You have to feed off the third parties. So, first of all, if you think the list sucks, blame the third parties. And 2, I don't see how you can, as a gamer, you can say it sucks. You know, I'm just really confused about that. It makes me wonder, like, what games do people actually play? And I'm sure usually when people start telling me games that they like to play, they're games that I think really suck. Just suck. Or just, I'm not interested at all. Like the Halo franchise. Or Killzone. Or things like that. Not that I don't like shooters. I mean, I was a big Quake 3 Arena fan, go around shooting people, shotgun, railgun, but, you know. And the quick other thing, which since I only have a few minutes left, is about, I'm also sick and tired of hearing about iPhone gaming. Yes, there are good games for the iPhone, but they're not in the same field, and they won't be. And there's actually a particular reason why Apple's gunning for gaming. It's not because of they want to get Nintendo and Sony's market share. They're actually gunning for gaming because of Microsoft. Because if you grew up anywhere with PCs when you were younger, you knew that most people bought Windows machines and IBM PCs because they had video games. No one would port games to Mac, no one would make games for Mac, and Mac was just laughed at. Like if you went to any Apple store, it's like the game aisle was like one shelf with 5 titles and that's it. So the reason why they're focusing on that is because Microsoft, due to Xbox and now Kinect, has basically abandoned the PC scene. So they're like, our time to strike! So they're using the mobile sphere to inject gaming and get gaming to them, and now as you see, they're bringing it to the Mac. So they're really trying to actually get into Microsoft's market share by this. They're not trying to get into Sony or Nintendo's handheld share. I mean, it is eating in, but basically both of them are different enough with different price ranges and stuff, and if you're giving them for your kids, you're a fucking moron, that these two will coexist. They just will. It's like with everything else. Alright, basically I can't wait for the 3DS, getting Cosmo Black and a shit ton of games. I will see you on March 27th, and thanks for watching this video.